Donald Trump went on a truly unhinged rant after all of these discussions about him no longer being politically viable, and maybe the Republican Party should go with Ron DeSantis. He does not like that. And he's planning on announcing next Tuesday, according to all reports. And I unfortunately, for the purpose of keeping up with what's going on with his fundraising and stuff, did get on his email list. So his email list has been going bonkers, asking people, of course, to donate, but then also saying, we have this big announcement next Tuesday, you should be there, whatever. And it does seem to be a 2024 presidential announcement. So he really doesn't like that that's getting a little bit outshined by Ron DeSantis. And so he went on this rant on Truth Social as Mediaite documents. Ron came to me, this is Trump writing, in desperate shape in 2017. He was politically dead, losing in a landslide to a very good agriculture commissioner, Adam Putnam, who was loaded up with cash and great poll numbers. Ron had low approval, bad polls, and no money, but he said that if I would endorse him, capital E endorse for some reason, he could win. I didn't know Adam, so I said, let's give it a shot, Ron. When I endorsed him, it was as though, to use a bad term, a nuclear weapon went off. Years later, they were the exact same words that Adam Putnam used in describing Ron's endorsement. Again, endorsement is capitalized for some reason. He doesn't understand the usage of that. He said, I went from having it made with no competition to immediately getting absolutely clobbered after your endorsement. I then got Ron by the star of the Democratic Party, Andrew Gillum, who was later revealed to be a crackhead by having two massive rallies with tens of thousands of people at each one. A little bit more, guys. I also fixed his campaign, which had completely fallen apart. I was all in for Ron, and he beat Gillum after the race when votes were being stolen by the corrupt election process in Broward County, and Ron was going down 10,000 votes a day, along with now Senator Rick Scott. I sent in the FBI and the U.S. attorneys, and the ballot theft immediately ended. Just prior to them running out of the votes necessary to win, I stopped his election from being stolen. Whew. Lord have mercy. So he is very much bitter, as y'all know, that someone he feels like he made, which he says that about everybody. For example, he said that Mitch McConnell owes his re-election to Trump. I don't think that's true at all. Mitch McConnell would have won. But Ron DeSantis, there's a better case to be made that Trump really did make his political career, or at least his rise to the governorship, because all of Ron DeSantis' message was, I am so pro-Trump. If you remember that extremely cringy campaign ad he put out where I'm teaching my son how amazing our president is, at the time Trump was president, and just publicly kissing the booty of Trump as much as possible to get the votes of his base in Florida, and it worked. And so Trump has a case to be made, but it's hilarious that he just feels so betrayed by the fact that Ron DeSantis has any further ambitions beyond being Trump's lapdog. Here is CNN just doing a quick fact check of the last part of that Truth Social statement, where Trump alleged he sent down federal law enforcement to stop the election from being stolen from Ron DeSantis.
You know, former President Trump, he continues to attack DeSantis in the wake of the GOP's poor midterm performance and suggestions that the Florida governor should be the one to lead the party heading into 2024. Now, in a lengthy social media post last night, Trump claimed that he leveraged federal law enforcement to stop DeSantis from losing his 2018 race for governor. Trump wrote, when votes were being stolen by the corrupt election process in Broward County and Ron was going down 10,000 votes a day, along with now Senator Rick Scott, I sent in the FBI and the U.S. attorneys, and the ballot theft immediately ended just prior to them running out of the votes necessary to win. I stopped this election from being stolen. Now, this is, of course, just the latest iteration of a claim that Trump has made many times before about elections being stolen, even in the absence of any evidence. But I do want to provide some context for what was happening in that 2018 race. In November 2018, Governor Rick Scott, the Republican nominee for Senate, accused two of the state's largest counties of fraud. Trump joined in, tweeting at the time, "Don't worry, Florida, I am sending much better lawyers to expose the fraud." Now, Scott and then Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, a very close ally of the former president, called on the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate. They did. And that 18-month investigation found no evidence of widespread fraud. Now, as for Trump's claim that he sent in federal law enforcement agents, well, we have reached out to the current Justice Department and FBI, as well as multiple officials who were at the Trump Justice Department in 2018. But so far, there's nothing we have seen to indicate that former President Trump did attempt to leverage federal law enforcement.
Okay, you get the point. So that is a figment of his imagination as well. Can you believe it? Obviously, the biggest and most important lie being told there is the stolen election part of it. He now believes in any situation where the Democrat has an advantage, where the Republican's not winning by as much as people expected, whatever it is, it's the election being stolen. It's not that, hey, we live in a country where people have different views. Sometimes you might lose because people don't support what your platform stands for. And it's so aggravating that we have to listen to this time and time again about past elections, about the current 2022 election, as we just looked at previously in the show. All these claims of voter fraud, of the election being stolen, of the big scheme to do something illegal and wrong on the part of the Democratic Party and those who support them without any evidence, and it's not even expected that they should pretend to have evidence. Before, even in 2020, you saw them try to pretend and put up all these odd, either distortions of a particular evidence or data or a story, or complete fabrications, making up something completely out of the blue, out of nothing about something that happened, and then you'd go check the numbers that they were supposed to be citing from, it's just completely different. Whatever it is, they would at least pretend like they were trying to find evidence. Now we've gotten to the point where the evidence is the claim. Just make the claim, and that's it. That's all your followers need. As long as you have said the election was stolen and that there is some fraud out there, they'll believe it. I don't need evidence. Evidence. I got it. Love it. You said it. I believe it. Not a good place to be. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.